You're listening to SM Media, the #1 place for exclusive content.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Be Strong, Be Positive podcast right here on SM Media. I'm Scott McPike, delighted to be your host as always. Got a very special guest in this week's episode. I'm delighted to be joined by the founder of Let's Blether, Gaby Williamson. Gaby, it's a pleasure to welcome you on to the show. Thanks very much for joining me.
No, thank you very much for having me.
No worries, how you been?
I've been okay. Yeah, I've not been too bad. I'm actually been making the most of this nice weather. It's like been so nice this week, like so different for Scotland. So no, I've been enjoying that. But on the whole, I've been okay.
Brilliant. What's kind of been your, over the last kind of year or so, it's been pretty safe to say it's been quite tough for everyone, but what's been your kind of thoughts on it?
God, I mean, it's just been overwhelming, I think, for everyone. I think if you speak to anyone, you know, everyone's got a different story about how they found this year. But it's not been easy. I don't think it's been easy for anyone. It's so different to what we're used to. I think being so restricted to just being in your house and being told that you can't go do the normal things to like distract yourself and stuff just makes it so much harder. It's just been so isolating for everyone. But hopefully we're coming out the other end of it, fingers crossed. Honestly, the thought of going into another lockdown actually makes me want to cry. So I hope that doesn't happen again.
Definitely. How have you been kind of keeping busy? How have you been kind of managing to keep busy during these times?
I think having my blog, Let's Blether, to really express how I've been feeling throughout lockdown and over the last year has definitely really helped me put my mind to a positive place, because I feel like if you're open with people, then it makes you realise you're not alone. I get so many messages from other people who've been feeling the exact same over the last 12 months, and I think that's really reassuring and it's comforting knowing you're not alone. So I've been trying to use like my kind of platform and Let's Blether to, you know, like do positive things and open the conversation to different topics that have, you know, stigmas and stuff surrounding them. But on the whole, I've just been trying to like keep busy. Like I hate sitting about not doing anything. I think that just makes my mind go off to crazy places. So, you know, just going out walks and catching up with friends now that we're actually able to do that. Just kind of been doing stuff like that.
Brilliant. What was the kind of motivations to start your blog? Like, did it just come about, or was it a kind of long-term process to start it?
Well, I made my blog. So lockdown started in March last year, and I think I made my blog in May, so like kind of 2 months into lockdown. And I think it's just social media, it can be so toxic, can't it? And I think just whilst you're in lockdown, it was so easy to dwell on things, and I would end up just sitting on Instagram. I'd go from Instagram to Twitter to Snapchat, you know, that way just going down, and half the time I was looking at things that was actually making myself feel worse. And I was like, how am I feeling worse when actually everyone's in the same boat right now? Like everyone's locked in their house, but you're still going on social media and feeling like you're missing out on something. Makes sense. So I just thought I want to be a bit more open about time. My dad, he was living with esophageal cancer. So I thought, you know, that'd be a way of me kind of sharing what it's like being in lockdown with essentially a dying parent. Because I know that, you know, many people who have been in lockdown will have been, you know, having to look after parents if they're young carers, or if they've got a sibling that's not well. And that's really difficult, because I think in normal life you're able to go out and do things. So your main focus, well, not even your main focus, but you're able to do things to distract yourself. But see, when you're just in the house, you're constantly thinking about that person in front of you that's not well, or it's like the main focus and you can't take your mind away from it. So I just thought, I'm going to make this Instagram page and just share how I'm feeling, not thinking it would kind of do very much. I just kind of thought, you know, even if it helps one person, then that's kind of good for me. So I just started it from there and just kind of, you know, posted about how you know, you can go into someone's Instagram or you can see a photo of someone and they can look happy, but you know, you don't actually know what's going on behind that. And I think that's really what I wanted to, like, kind of the message I wanted to spread, is that you don't know what anyone's going through. We think we can be so quick to judge, especially in today's society. So I just kind of wanted to start a kind of change there, and from there it's definitely been such a positive thing for me.
What's the response been like?
It's been so overwhelming, but like so heartwarming as well. Like, I'm not a soppy person, but see how it makes me feel when I receive messages from people. Like, it's actually just like the best feeling ever. And I think for people to be so open with me and share their personal experiences, that's like an honor to me, that they feel like they can open up to me like that means a lot. And also just the people that I've managed to kind of talk to and meet kind of on this journey through my blog, it's been so inspiring. I mean, it just kind of puts into perspective that everyone is going through their own kind of journey with different things, and it's definitely kind of opened my eyes to not everyone's life is perfect, and you think everyone's is, but no one's life is, you know what I mean? Everyone has their situation or something going on, and it's definitely highlighted that to me.
Definitely. What was your kind of memories kind of growing up? Like, how do you look back on your experiences when you were starting out? Like, what was your ambitions when you kind of left school and things like that?
Well, when I left school, basically my dad was diagnosed in 2018. So I was just I think I was just in sixth year, or was I? Yeah, I think I was just in sixth year. So I was kind of in my last year of school. And I think that was a bit of a curveball, because when you find out someone's got cancer, your whole life changes. And I think, especially with my dad's diagnosis, we were kind of told he had between 3 to 6 months, and that was a huge shock, because my dad was a fit, healthy young guy, and none of us expected that. So my kind of last year at school went from being something that was meant to be like the best kind of year, like finishing school with all your friends, to just a bit of a kind of stress, just a big stress ball, because you know, between that, I've got the worry of my dad, I'm applying to uni, thinking about the future, and it was quite scary, but I was really lucky to have like a great support group within my friends and other family members and stuff, that definitely made it a lot easier. And my dad's mindset, he was so positive about it all, so half the time we never felt like he was actually ill, if that makes sense, because he was so positive and he looked so well half the time. And I think that definitely made it a lot easier on all of us, and stuff. But my ambition was always to I always loved politics and English and stuff like that, so I'd always wanted to go to uni and do something like that. So I'm currently doing politics and sociology at uni, which I'm loving and really enjoying, and I'm glad I've got that, because that's a really good distraction to have as well, because it's something I'm passionate about. So I'm glad, despite having that really difficult last year at school, I managed to get to kind of where I want to be just now. Like, I'm glad I've got that, but it was definitely really difficult.
So what's kind of been your kind of experiences with mental health? Like, when's the first time you realised kind of mental health was a thing? Like,
I feel like all kind of like through school, I was okay. I think I've always kind of been a bit of an anxious person, but I've never really realised it. Like, I didn't really know what anxiety was. Like, I just kind of thought I was just a nervous person. But now kind of looking back and realising the signs of anxiety and what it's really about, I realised through school I definitely had it. I mean, there was I think I'm a huge overthinker, and I would always think the worst was going to happen. And especially around exams, like, I used to get myself in I just used to get myself in such a bad place. And half the time it wouldn't even be the stress of the actual exam. It would be the thought of sitting in an exam hall with like loads of people. Like, that I found more scary than actually sitting the exam, if that makes sense. And I look back at that, and that's kind of where I think my social anxiety stemmed from, because the thought of being in a room with loads of people, and you know, any sudden noise that you make, I just always thought I was going to do something and everyone was going to see that I've done something. And I don't know why that just gave me like the fear like so badly. But once I kind of left school, and I went to uni, obviously you're in big lecture halls and stuff with like
Yeah.
loads of people you don't even know, and I was fine initially, and then I think it was after it marked a year of my dad being diagnosed, and at this point he was still here, he was at home and I was staying up in Glasgow. I don't know why, I think it just hit a nerve with me, and I got this overwhelming guilt that like I was up in Glasgow enjoying my life, and my mum and dad, my brother and sister were all here having to deal with obviously my dad not being very well, and that kind of affected me through like my anxiety then got worse. So when I was at uni, I would be in lecture halls and I'd be like jittering, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to do something, something's going to happen to me. And it got to the point, it was so bad, I just didn't go to my lectures. And it was so like it was so like upsetting because I was loving it so much and I knew I wanted to be there, but the anxiety, it's like it controls you. Like you can't do anything when you feel that way. Like it's like you've got a lead or something wrapped around you, like, and you're getting pulled back. Like you can't go, and it was awful. And I kind of kept it to myself. Like the girls in my flat knew that obviously something wasn't right. But I didn't want to tell my parents or anything because I just thought it sounded ridiculous. I thought, look at me like complaining about going to uni when they're at home and my dad's so unwell. Like, oh my gosh, like why? I've got nothing to be complaining about. Like I'm healthy, I'm fine. And it got to a point where then I wasn't eating. I thought if I ate, something would happen to me, like I would choke. And your mind just plays such games on you. And I just didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know who to talk to, like whether to go to a doctor. I just didn't know if it was me being silly. And every time I came home after being up at uni and stuff, I'd come back, my mum would say, Gabby, like, are you okay? Like you've lost some weight. Are you feeling okay? And I'd be like, no, I'm fine. And then I got to the point where I was coming home and I was realising like I didn't want to eat in front of anyone. And I thought I need to like book an appointment at the doctor's. And I went to my GP and I got my mum to come with me and I just broke down. And I just think I really needed to do that. Like I'm so glad I did that because I think I just let it build up and I just got there and it just like word vomit, it just all came out. And my mum I think had a kind of sense something wasn't right, but I don't think she could probably realise the extent of how bad I was actually feeling. And that was probably my first kind of when I kind of started to learn more about kind of like your mental health, and I got referred to the mental health nurse, and my dad came with me to that, and my parents were so supportive of it all, and I knew they always would be, but I think it's just that fear of actually admitting that you're not okay that can be so scary.
Yeah. Do you think there's, seeing you're saying there about how hard the step was, do you think there is still a big stigma with mental health?
I think there definitely is. I think that especially, I think a lot of people get put off asking for help because you hear about, like the waiting times and that people don't get taken seriously. And that can be a huge reason as to why people don't ask for help, because it is difficult opening up and saying, look, I'm not okay, I'm struggling with this, because for some reason, I think as humans, we do feel embarrassed to admit when there's a problem. And I think if you're going and opening up and the person, like the doctor say, that's meant to help you doesn't believe you, and I'm not saying all doctors are like that, but just from a few stories that I've heard of different people, a lot of people have had very different experiences. And I was very lucky in the sense when I went to the doctors, I was listened to and they were so understanding. And whenever I'm talking to anyone, I always say, go to your doctor, reach out, because they do care. But I know that's just my personal experience, and I do realise and I appreciate that other people haven't had that, and that's when it's not right. That like there shouldn't be this inconsistency that one person can go and they're listened to and the other isn't, if that makes sense. And I think it's about bringing more awareness to, mental health is something that needs to be listened to. And especially after lockdown, I think so many people emotions have been heightened and they've had to suffer a lot more than what they would have, and you've not been able to distract yourself. I think now more than ever, mental health services are going to be really under pressure, because I think there is going to be a large number of people that are going to need more support now.
Yeah, definitely. What's it like your support network? How good is it to have those people around about you who do know how you're feeling?
Well, I realised that after kind of I lost my dad, that, you know, I am young and not a lot of people kind of do understand necessarily in my friend group. And, you know, they shouldn't understand, like, we're so young and shouldn't have to go through having a parent that's ill and losing them so young. And I really struggled with that because I didn't want to constantly be talking about it to my friends. Like, I wanted to be able to be with my friends and just enjoy myself, but at the same time I was like, I need to talk about how I'm feeling. So through Let's Blether, I've really been able to open up and kind of virtually meet other people that are going through a really similar thing. Because I think in your bubble, you think, when you've got your circle, you think, oh, it's just me, no one else is going through what I'm going through. But then when you look at the bigger picture, like, that's when social media is amazing, because you're able to reach such a wider network of people and you realize, wow, like, I'm not alone, there is people going through this. And through Let's Blether, I started my own virtual like support group for other young people that were grieving. And we started during lockdown, and we'd have Zooms, and we've got a WhatsApp group chat, and it was people just all over Scotland, you know, people down in England as well, and we would all just come on, just a kind of variety of different ages of us who had maybe lost a parent or a sibling, or just struggling with grief. And that really helped me because it put things into perspective for me, that there was a lot of other young people going through a really similar thing, which is a comfort, especially when you feel alone. Like, obviously you don't want anyone to go through the pain you're going through, but when you find someone else that can actually, you know, look you in the eye and be like, I know exactly how you feel, it's almost like a weight off your shoulder, because you know that whatever you say, that person has also felt, which is nice to have that. And especially I think sometimes with kind of opening up to a stranger can sometimes be easier, because you're just talking to someone like a one-to-one level, if that makes sense. Like, and I really felt like that helped me. And even now, like, we don't really do the Zooms and stuff now, obviously, because life's kind of gone back to normal, but we still talk in our WhatsApp group chat. Even, you know, when it was Father's Day a few weeks ago, like, we were all talking about that because a few of us have lost our dads and stuff. And it's really comforting. And I feel like through that I've formed I've made some friendships as well through a really horrible situation, but we've been able to find the good out of it by coming together and really talking about it.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. See, obviously, when you're at uni and that, and you're doing that, like politics and things like that, is it hard to kind of balance the stress of that and just kind of normal everyday life?
Yeah, I feel like for the last year, obviously, my uni's all been online, so it's been kind of really strange just having to do everything so virtual. So I feel like had I been having uni in person, it maybe would have been a bit more difficult to kind of juggle it about. But see, when you're having like uni online, like, you're in your house, you're able just to sit out, you don't know what way, you don't need to get dressed up, you can just sit there and kind of do it as and when you please. Like, it's not like you need to go at 3 o'clock and do it, because the lectures get put up really whenever. So I feel like I was able to kind of fit uni in with when it suited me. Like, say if I was having a bad day with regards to maybe like my grief or something like that, I could think, right, I'm just going to let myself have today, and then tomorrow I'll focus on uni. Whereas if uni was in person, I would have been like, oh, I'm actually missing a class, like, that's stress, I'm missing a class, I can't do that. And I feel like as much as I've struggled with uni online, because I do miss that social aspect, I don't think it's been a bad thing for my first year of grieving, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's definitely. What do you kind of like to go up to in your spare time?
In my spare time, I like to see my friends a lot. I do. Like, I feel like I don't really like being myself. Like, I like being surrounded by people. I'm a bit of a chatterbox, so it could literally be like a brick wall, and I'd end up just talking to it. Like, I need to be with people. So I like seeing my friends. I like going out walks with my dog. And to be honest, recently, like, I've just been doing so much for my wee page. I just feel like I get so much from it. Like, it puts me in a good headspace. And recently my family and I, we've been organising some charity
Yeah, I was going to ask
fundraising
you about that, yeah.
in honour of my dad, and that's been really fun, kind of planning stuff like that, and it's been keeping me busy. And like I enjoy kind of just doing all that sort of thing, and I've become an ambassador for Ayrshire Cancer Support, so like I enjoy going to their meetings, and obviously they've opened a new centre in Ayr, so there's like loads of exciting things happening. But I think the fact like it is summer, uni's done, like I was talking to my mum the other day actually, and I was just like, I need to find some more things just for me, like do you know what I mean, like I love doing my Let's Blether things, but then I kind of think, oh, you need to do something that's just for you. Like, because I think sometimes it can be so easy to just get, I like working, I like keeping myself busy in that sense, but then I'm like, I need something kind of therapeutic where I can just kind of turn off. And to be honest, we got a paddle board, and I do enjoy going down to Maidens and going on my paddle board, which is good fun. So just kind of things like that. But I am a bit, I kind of am a bit chaotic. I'm a bit all over the place. I just like keeping myself busy.
Brilliant. What's you mentioned there about the charity walks you've got planned? Just tell us a bit about that as well. What you got lined up for that?
So I've been working with Worldwide Cancer Research, who actually reached out to me through Let's Blether when they kind of seen, I think they'd seen some of my stuff in newspapers regarding what I'd said about my dad. And obviously after my dad passed, my mum was then diagnosed. So cancer is like a kind of huge thing within our family. Like it's obviously something that, you know, our heart kind of, it's something we're obviously very kind of like passionate about, you know, raising money and stuff for such a good cause. So Worldwide Cancer Research reached out to me, and then from there I just kind of started going back and forth with a few people from the charity, and then they'd come up with some really good ideas kind of things to do in honor of my dad, and they were just kind of so supportive over the last year. Despite being in lockdown, they always checked up on us, and I thought, what an amazing charity, and any money that they get goes towards research, which is obviously crucial in helping get new treatments and making treatments kinder, and you know, that sort of thing. So we decided we wanted to make a £200,000 legacy fund in memory of my dad. So we're going to try raise this money over, I don't even know how long it will take us. You never know. It could take a couple of years. It could take 20 years. I don't know. Hopefully not as long as that. But hopefully we're going to raise 200k in memory of my dad, and this fund will then be in his name at the charity. So whatever that money gets put towards, like my dad's name will be on it, and that means like so much to us.
Yeah, sounds brilliant.
For his name to be there, because he was so young and it wasn't his time to go, and you know, we want his legacy to just live on forever, and the charity are so supportive. And for us, research, and for everyone who's living with someone with cancer or knows someone with cancer, research is crucial, and that's what all the money will be going to. So it's such a worthwhile cause, and yeah, no, we're really excited for the future of that. And we've got our first charity event on the 13th of August. We're doing at Ayr Rugby Club. We're doing my dad's former teammates are playing against my brother's team.
Right.
Just kind of a light-hearted game, which should be a really good laugh. And I'm trying to, like, you know, hopefully it'll be like a kind of family fun day. We'll get some stalls and stuff there, all COVID dependent. Fingers crossed it'll all go ahead. Just in a kind of light-hearted day, which I think my dad just would have loved. And we're going to get a cup, the Gaby Williamson Cup. So whatever team wins will be awarded that cup from the former Scottish and British Lions player David Soul, who's actually the chairman of Worldwide Cancer Research. So that all fits very nicely there. So that's really exciting. So I'm going to keep my page like updated with things for that. But yeah, no, it's exciting planning all that. So I think just having things to look forward to is the best thing.
That sounds amazing. See, when it comes to mental health, like, what do you think what do you think is the next step for mental health? Like, how can you see it going forward?
Well, at the moment, I've been helping out in the Scottish Government's mental health and wellbeing framework strategy group. Right. So that we hold meetings once a month where they kind of come on and we talk about plans for things that need to be worked upon within different areas of mental health and stuff. So through my page, any comments or thoughts that I get from people on my page, I then pass on to those on this call, which I think gives I think it's amazing because it gives young people the chance to let their voices be heard. And I've said a few times on my page, if anyone's ever got anything they want to say, like just tell me, I'll write it down and I'll pass it on. And last week I was emailing some stuff over to them about what they think needs to be changed and stuff. And I think just making sure young people are at the forefront is crucial, because I think it's a topic that young people are very passionate about. And I think, you know, young people, this generation could be the ones that change it for future generations, because I think especially through social media and stuff, it's just highlighted how many people experience things regarding mental health. So I think the important thing is getting those who are in power to really listen to the kind of bigger picture, especially, you know, like with waiting times and stuff like that. I mean, you know, some people are able to wait, but not everyone is. And it's making sure that those people who can't wait don't slip under the belt, because that's the kind of thing. And that's what the framework group were saying, you know, it's making sure we don't let these people slip under, because that's what happened. And it's devastating when it does. And too many people lose their lives to mental health problems. And it's something that I'm really passionate about. And you know, I think a lot of young people are passionate about, and I think it's just making sure that our voices are heard. And see, if you do have thoughts and opinions, like write to your MP, write to your MSP, like get your voice heard, because you know, the more pressure we put on those in power, the more they have to listen to us. And I think that is what is so important, because there's so many flaws within the mental health kind of like system, you know, in the NHS. And the thing is, the NHS are amazing. They're brilliant, but there's gaps and there's things that do need to be fixed. And for those that have struggled, you know, these people we need answers, and we need things to progress.
Definitely, couldn't agree more. What's the plans for the future of Let's Blether? Like, where's the next steps for that?
Well, it's actually very exciting. I've been doing a lot of work with the Scottish Government and with South Ayrshire Council as well. I haven't really announced it on my page, but I've been talking about it to people, so it's not a secret. But basically, I've got a little sister who's 9, and when she lost my dad, we lost my dad last year in June, and when she went back to school, we just realised how difficult it is for little ones. You know,
Yeah.
my mum was constantly being told, oh, little kids are resilient, like they're fine, they'll get there. But that's not good enough. You know, my brother and I, we are able to vocalise how we feel. We have each other to kind of bounce off. Whereas my little sister, like, it can be so difficult for someone that age to actually articulate how they feel, because I don't think a lot of the time she actually does know how she feels. So with I wrote to the Scottish Government about something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and South Ayrshire Council have picked up on it and they're helping me do it. And it's basically having a Let's Blether box, and in this box it'll have things like emotion cards. There's a little toy my sister has, and it's like an octopus, and it's got like a smiley face on one side and then a sad face on the other, and it's like reversible. And she takes it into school and basically sits it on her desk, and sometimes she doesn't want to draw attention to herself in the class, and see if she has that sitting, say the happy way, it lets the teacher know that that's how maybe she's feeling today, and without drawing too much attention to it.
Yeah.
And that's been like a really good way of kind of letting the teacher know how Poppy's been feeling day to day at school. So it'll have things like that in it, a journal, books, a memory jar, just little things. And basically with this box, if any young child in South Ayrshire, you know, a primary school child, loses a parent or a sibling or an auntie, they will be given one of these boxes, almost just like a hug in a box, just to let them know that they're not alone. There'll be a directory in it for parents, so they know of services and charities that can offer support, because I think a lot of people don't know where to turn to when they lose someone and they've got a young child involved, because I know my mum certainly didn't know kind of who to talk to about it. So South Ayrshire Council have very kindly offered to fund this project, so we're in the midst of getting that all organised, which I'm so excited about, and I'm like so blessed. I can't wait for it to go out and we're kind of piloting it, hopefully in August, into a cluster of different schools just to see how it goes initially. But I think this kind of hug in a box idea could really help a child that maybe feels alone and isolated, because no child should feel different for losing someone, and grief is so difficult, and even as adults it's so difficult, so you can't imagine how it must be for a child. And it's not good enough just for a child to be told they're resilient, they're too young to understand. Kids aren't silly. Kids have emotions too. So I'm hoping by having these boxes, it'll give parents an idea of different activities that they can do to help remember the lost one or deal with their emotions. And also with the directory, it gives them an idea of where to go if they think their child is struggling, or if they're struggling, and what to do and whatnot. So that's kind of where my plans are and what I've been busy working on just now. And I'm so excited for this to be launched and to post about it soon once we've got the box and everything. But we're organising it all and ordering everything, which is really exciting at the moment.
That sounds brilliant. We close the show with some quick fire questions. Are you all right to answer a couple? Right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Brilliant. If you could go back in time to any point in your life, where would you go?
I would go back to my old house just after my sister was born. So my sister's 9, so I was probably about 12 at the time, 11 or 12. So I would probably go back then, because I've got such happy memories at my old house, and life was just good and calm, and it was just a very happy time in my childhood. So I think I'd go back then.
Brilliant. Interesting fact about yourself that viewers might not know.
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard one. Oh my gosh, I've been so put on the spot. God, I can't even think. An interesting fact. I'm probably going to say such a rubbish fact, and then later I'll think, oh, that would have been a better fact. An interesting fact. Oh gosh, I don't know. Interesting fact is, oh God, I can't think.
Do I come back to that one?
Yeah, no, I'll think about it. I'll come back
to that one. Favourite film and TV show?
Favourite film is Forrest Gump. Love
Brilliant.
that. And then my favourite series. I love Stranger Things.
Very good. Favourite artist and song?
Oh, favourite artist. I'm just going to say Beyonce, because I just love her. I love all her songs. You can't go wrong with Beyonce. And then favourite song. Oh, this is quite a silly one. It's Fat Man Scoop, Be Faithful, because it's just my favourite song. See, when I'm out and that song comes on, I just love it. So I have to say that song.
Brilliant. Favourite hobby?
My favourite hobby is playing hockey, field hockey. I love hockey.
Nice. One thing you would tell yourself 5 years ago?
One thing I would tell myself 5 years. Probably that just live in the moment, enjoy yourself. Gosh, I look back at my life 5 years ago, and I just kind of think I probably had everything I wanted right in front of me, and I didn't realize. So it's probably just, I think I always have appreciated what I have, but just to really appreciate it and make the most of your family, and tell people you love them more, because life is so short and you don't know what is going to happen. So I'll probably do that.
Brilliant. Right, back to the interesting fact about yourself. What we got?
Oh my gosh, I sound so boring. Why can't I think of anything? Oh, fun fact is, this isn't even that fun, but I'm tongue-tied, so I can't stick my tongue out. So if it doesn't come out past my lips, so that's not. What a stupid fact! But that's all I can think of.
Brilliant, Gabby. It's been an absolute pleasure to be on. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Best of luck for everything planned for the future.
Thank you. I really
thank you. Cheers.
It.